And his planeswalkers, he's got the whole curve up. Liliana, Sorin, Little Sorin, and then Gideon and Tamio.
Yeah.
With Consecrated Sphinx topping out the curve. Meanwhile, his opponent, Chris Renner, we saw earlier.
Blue-white Delver.
Absolutely. And which blend of Delver was this?
That is not kind of traditional, very Jerry Thompson-y. Traditional, neo-traditional if you prefer.
Absolutely. With not too much variation there. We're going to see kind of a classic, like the hero being the non-Delver deck versus the Delver.
Now, at the Invitational, Shaheen lost in a matchup like this. And if you watch Shaheen's matches, Shaheen kept, as I like to say, loose keeps sink ships. And Shaheen said that he basically kind of pulled a very classic 5-match. 2 of his losses were losses that he believes should not have happened if he had not been as loose as he was. I actually predict that Joe is likely to 2-0 this one.
Just because on matchup, it's just these Esper decks are just so well positioned against the Delver decks?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. And the particulars of Chris Renner's deck. Chris Renner, not running a Rune Chanter's Pike style build, is unlikely to get that steal the win way.
So 2 Ponders, a Leak, and 2 Angels and a land. Is this 3 Angels? 3 Angels and a land. Wow.
Now, for Joe, what this essentially means is he is looking at no real pressure unless Chris's Ponders produce some real miracles.
So he found a Geist of St. Traft. If he can just ponder into some land, if he finds 2 more land here, and he does, this is 3 land. This is beautiful. That's exactly what Chris wanted to see. Ponder into 3 land.
It's exactly what he needed.
Absolutely. Things are looking real good over on this side. Now, if we can see what Joe's working with. Does he have white mana? Because that's another thing.
There it is.
It's not incidental to get your mana together in these Esper decks. You got to have your double black for Liliana, double white for your Day, double blue for Sphinx and Tamio.
One of the reasons that a lot of the Esper control decks don't run Liliana is that the stretch to do double white, double black can be too much.
And double blue.
Yeah. Joe Knizacky now laying a swamp, and the first of many spirits coming down on the table unless a mana leak stops them. There's the leak.
Yep, there's something to do for Chris, because at this point he just wants to drop Geist of St. Traft. Well, he's got this opportunity.
Here it comes. There
Next
it
turn,
is.
Joe can play two spirits, but Chris has got several Restoration Angels, so he can actually commit quite a bit more to the table. I wonder if at this point in the tournament, Chris knows that Joe has no mana leaks.
It's a question of if you read, and here's going to be a Liliana perhaps. There it is.
Wow.
If you read Star City Games Premium, it's more likely that you might recognize that there aren't mana leaks once you've seen that Despise.
Absolutely. It's like LSV was saying, it's just crazy to not be, like if you're trying to actually compete in these tournaments, why would you not want, get the most up-to-date, best information available,
I mean, one of the things to remember is that it is worth your time to read as many things as you can so long as they are credible sources. And it's just worth it to know, hey, what did well here? What is this person's opinion? Because at the very worst, you're at least going to know what other people are reading.
Absolutely. It's good to know, even if the other people are wrong, what is the direction they're wrong in? Plus, they're not always going to be wrong.
Yeah. I think, yeah. And we see another Ponder, Fishy Ponder from Chris Renner. Chris Renner is the current 5th seed in the Swiss, and he and Joe Knizacky are both basically at a position here in round 9.
They can win an in?
One of these guys can win an in.
What do you think about the whole your position determines if you play or draw in top 8?
I absolutely love it. I think it only adds more elements to the game that are interesting.
And positive, right? Like it encourages good things.
Yeah.
So, what's Chris's play? Was it overly ambitious to play the Ponder there? I mean, wasn't he supposed to just flash down an Angel and surprise kill the Liliana?
I mean, it depends, really. I think you're probably right. Oh, geez. Once a second Planeswalker hits the table, up until the point where we start seeing new cards in M13, it's really frustrating dealing with 2 Planeswalkers.
Man, can you imagine just Thunderball? God, maybe he didn't have the fourth mana. I think he did though.
He could have pondered into the fourth mana.
I'm pretty sure he saw 3 land when he pondered before. But
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely have seen Chris Renner under the camera not so long ago, last round, I believe.
So this is...
I recognize the mismatched lands.
Things are starting to spiral out of control here. Because, I mean, now he's got to go flash down the Angel, attack Liliana, hope you don't have a Doomblade.
And
next
remember,
turn,
Lingering
attack
Souls is in Joe's yard, too.
Man.
I mean, I really, really love the way that Shaheen has shifted this deck around. And I played Shaheen in an 8-man the other day, and it was kind of funny because we're both playing control decks in round 1, and he's like, this isn't when this is supposed to happen. And in for 1.
Daring him to play the Angel. I want you to do it.
Lifelink for 1 life. Not irrelevant. Another little vampire.
Activates Sorin again.
And I think we're going to see a flashback here. God, look at this little army he's assembled.
Cast Lingering Souls one more time.
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan in the booth here with
Patrick Chapin.
The Patrick Chapin, one and only.
Well, no, there's also this lawyer in Nevada.
You know, I've got another Adrian Sullivan out in the world, and he is a literal magician in England. As in, nothing up my sleeve.
Let's see, I thought that was you. No?
I've been to England. I've never done the magic tricks.
My doppelganger has gone so far, he always uses his middle initial now. Because I think he was sick of getting, bumped on the Google results. So, we've got a little bit more token-making action.
And go. Here's the Angel. End of turn. Was that a case of end of your turn itis? No, I guess there was a Liliana on too, so never mind.
Yeah. Wow, this is a real bad spot.
It's a tight spot. In for 3. I don't have a Vapor Snag, believe me.
I mean...
All in. Block, 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 block.
And this Vapor Snag is going to be pretty nice.
Just do it.
But this doesn't really help, I mean...
And away go all of the spirits. I think that helps.
He's gonna get his Angel Restoration. I mean, he's gonna get his Angel Liliana, and he's facing an Ultimate Sorin.
I mean, it's nice though to have used a Vapor Snag, essentially to kill
3
a Lingering
tokens?
Souls.
Yeah.
And here they are, the vampires still there.
Vampires on parade.
Now, Sorin is a card that I think has seen less play than we were initially expecting, but I think that can change. I mean, black-white as a requirement, there just really wasn't a very potent space for it, and I think that we're going to see more of this in the future, though. More Sorin, that is.
I mean, we've always known there's a lot of competition at the 4 spot.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to note just how much it's shown up in Esper control decks instead of just black-white tokens.
Yeah. Liliana uses its -2 ability to edict away the Restoration Angel on Chris Renner's side. We see another vampire, now 3 vampires, and an Evolving Wilds for Joe Knizacky. Chris Renner, I mean, what does he want to do here?
I'm guessing flash down another Angel and equip a sword to it.
That's probably accurate. Only 1 card in Joe Knizacky's hand.
Because, I mean, order of business number 1 has got to be, going after those planeswalkers. He's not under the biggest amount of pressure from all those random dudes, but he can worry about that later,
Yeah.
Once he gets these planeswalkers off the table, he can just keep a blocker home and be alright. But
Well, I mean, the pressure can suddenly mount out of nowhere. If we get an emblem from Sorin,
Yep.
I mean, it's not out of nowhere, literally, but I mean, just colloquially speaking.
Absolutely.
That's 6 that we would have to be worrying about a turn very, very easily. And it could be 6, then 9. And just 3, though, this time.
Yeah, I think order of business number 1 has got to be flash down an Angel and go after Sorin. Or Liliana, he's got to figure out how to deal with both of them because he can't just keep sitting here falling further behind each turn. I mean,
Sorin now capable of activating its ultimate ability and stealing up to 3 creatures and sticking around afterwards.
Yeah.
And discard, says Joe. Snapcaster on... No, what is that on Joe's side? It's not Snapcaster. I can't tell. A discard and a discard. I literally can't tell. There's the first piece of the puzzle. The Restoration Angel at the end of the turn. Let me read this card. It's pretty good. The ultimate ability would allow Joe to steal up to 3 creatures and/or planeswalkers from an opponent. Probe your hand. What you got?
Guessing a day or a terminus of some sort?
If it's...
Tragic Slip, sure, another removal spell.
So this is an opportunity here for Chris. Can he do something dramatic? And I guess it's just attack Liliana.
Huh.
He's got a Vapor Snag in his hand for the Angel.
Should
Sorin...
He's, if Sorin tries to ultimate, then, you know, Vapor Snag will come in handy.
Liliana down.
He's a mana short. He's a mana short of being able to go...
He can't do it all at once, yeah. If you're Joe, do you ultimate here?
Depends on what he draws.
Fair.
I mean, there's a lot to be said about just pick up the emblem and crash.
I mean, these vampires are disposable. And there's not a blocker in the way.
And
so
if he
Chris,
goes, he'll have Chris down to 4 with 8.
Oh, there's the emblem.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just Chris has too many problems to just hang out. You know, this way he's at 4, and he's going to need to produce 2 more blockers just to not die. To say nothing of the fact that there's going to be another Sorin emblem next turn if he wants.
Now remember, these vampires do have lifelink.
Yep. I mean, Joe's way behind in life.
Vapor Snag 1 of them, it looks like.
Absolutely. But even that...
Vapor Snag 2 of them.
Okay.
Or is it just the 1? Okay,
I think
just
it's
the one. Okay, he just repeated the snag motion to make sure it happened.
No, and I respect that. So, dropping to 6.
And to think twice.
Sure. More business. Keep it going. Forbidden Alchemy and Think Twice just give Joe... Now, he doesn't have as many as some people, but he does have that little extra bit so that in these attrition-y type situations... All right, packs it in. Can't beat the board.
Yeah. Now, if I'm Joe Knizacky, I board out at least one of these Tamayos. Tamayo, great card. Not great against Restoration Angel. Either 1 or 2 of those Tamayos come out. Let's see, what else? I'm not a big fan of Think Twice in this matchup, but a lot of people like to keep it in. And what are the cards you actually want? Curse is not terrible. Ratchet Bomb is good, and Batter Skull is acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Cursedess hold, but don't love it.
Ratchet Bomb is the card I really like.
Yeah, I mostly just want the 3 Ratchet Bombs. I could go either way on Batter Skull. I don't think you want it, though. I think he's going to just want the 3 Ratchet Bombs and the Curse. I think he's going to want to cut, like, Terminus. He might want to cut Mortar Pod.
If he read and agreed with Shaheen Soorani, he's not going to cut the Terminus.
Okay.
But the question is if he read and agreed with Shaheen.
Now, I do think that Tamiyo is actually just deceptively good in this situation because of Chris's lack of sweepers is going to mean that Joe is often going to be in a position to have either lots of vampires or lots of lingering souls tokens, and you can just attack and then immediately draw 4 cards. And that's where the real value is.
That's really huge.
Right. So I think Tamiyo, it's not at its best, but I think it'll be good enough. And but I mean, you could shave it if you need to. But I think cutting some amount of the slow, expensive sweepers and Mortar Pod and possibly even, I mean, I guess O-Ring is good for hitting Sword of War and Peace. And
what do you think of Consecrated Sphinx in this matchup?
Don't love it. Could go either way. Like it depends. Like he's probably tested enough to have a better idea of what the high end stuff. You know, is it better to cut Gideon or Consecrated Sphinx? I
like the Gideon, honestly.
See, I like Consecrated Sphinx because Chris is probably going to have to, like, Chris is going to be considering boarding out some Vapor Snags. And as a result, Consecrated Sphinx is much more likely to just stick and have a board presence that immediately takes over the game. Gideon, while good, doesn't even beat a Geist of St. Traft, you know? So I kind of like Consecrated Sphinx, but I don't think it has. I don't think you necessarily have to choose between the two. I think he can't cut the Consecrated Sphinx here, though.
Fair. What do we think we're going to see from Chris Renner?
So, Jace Memory Adept, step number 1, without question, and a negate. I think that he might be so traumatized from the Sorin situation.
I like that. Traumatized.
I think he's going to rightfully bring in Celestial Purge. It both hits Sorin and Curse of Death's Hold. And in a pinch, it does a few random other things, like occasionally kill a germ. But for the most part, it's and Liliana hits Liliana too. You know, and that's going to be really good. Unfortunately, he only has 1. He's got a lot of timely reinforcements, and I know that a lot of other people were playing a few more purges instead of relying so heavily on timely. But now that he's here, I think it's got to be just the purge, the negate, the Jace, and the dissipate, and possibly just more Gideons or something, just to have more threats. He's going to be taking out Mutagenic Growth, Dismember, both Gut Shots, and Divine Offering, and some number of Vapor Snags. So he's probably going to actually bring in the Gideon Juras just because he's got nothing better to do.
I actually think the other thing I like about the Gideon Jura is that it's a way in a deck with potentially a lot of Planeswalkers to KO another Planeswalker in the form of the Gideon Jura.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, one great answer to Gideon, because Gideon can be a very hard card to answer. One great answer can be Gideon itself.
It's also a great way to be able to commit more to the board without setting yourself up to get blown out harder by Day of Judgment or Terminus. But I do think that while this matchup seems to favor Joe game 1, I think that the edge is cut down a bit after sideboarding, because I do think that Chris gains more because he gets to take out all these awful Phyrexian mana cards, you know, like Mutagenic Growth, Dismembered, Gut Shot, and he gets to shave stuff like Divine Offering and Vapor Snag and replace it with A+ hits like Jace Memory Adept, Negate, Dissipate, Celestial Purge. Overall, definitely going to say that Chris is going to close to equalize, if not equalize. Although he is down a game, so it's going to be an uphill battle.
I mean, I would still be willing to say that it's pretty rough for him here. Having to win 2 as opposed to having to win 1, even if it was a 50-50 matchup, is rough.
Yeah.
Afterboard. Ponder, turn 1 from Chris Renner.
Now, he's looking for some early pressure, because the best thing he can do is play a variety of threats. He doesn't have a lot of Planeswalkers, so it's not like he can do much more than creatures, but what he can do is play out things like Delver that has such a high, you know, damage per second, and Geist of St. Traft, same thing, or Snapcaster Mage, so that he can commit more to the board while still digging.
Yeah. Now, just from a mathy perspective, if it's a 50-50 matchup after board, that still puts this at a 75-25 for Joe Knizacky.
Absolutely, and one of the 2 games he's going to have to be on the draw.
Yeah.
If he's going to pull it off. For Chris, anyway.
I like how Chris there is, with no potential miracle, playing as though there's the miracle possibility. I think essentially just trying to normalize his draws so that looking for a miracle never looks like you're looking for a miracle.
Absolutely. That's what a number of us have been finding, is that you have to just get in the habit of this is what you do. You look at your card and you put it in your hand.
That's one of the things one of my only minor complaints about Avacyn Restored is that physicality aspect to Avacyn Restored. And we have a cut here after the Evolving Wilds fetches that swamp.
So happy that Evolving Wild is in.
Me too.
In the set. Plus, but it's in M13 too.
It's such a fair fetching card that I'm really a fan of it. A second land here from Joe, and then the Ratchet Bomb we were talking about.
Ratchet Bomb's just such a great answer. It gives you ways to fight Delver early with a card that's still useful against all the other stuff like Moorland Haunt tokens or Geist of St. Traft or even a sword.
Speaking of Moorland Haunt, now one of the things I really love about having a Ratchet Bomb in play, I can't tell you how often I've had a Ratchet Bomb in play and my opponent's Delvers just stay as 1/1s, which to my mind, I am just fine with them sitting there and being 1/1. We see a Lingering Souls dissipated.
That's the best way to deal with
Renner.
Lingering Souls, for sure, from this position. He does need to commit something more to the board, though. He can't just sit here playing control. That's the kind of game Joe wants, and Joe's late game is significantly better.
Yeah, Chris, if he tries to play a control game, cannot expect to be able to hold on to those reins for the whole time.
Yep. We're going to see another Lingering Souls.
What you got this time?
Lingering Soul is just So powerful.
I was so shocked when they printed it. I saw it and I was like, wow, that is a surprise.
It's like taking a card that was already good and making it a Midnight Haunting and making it a
Yes,
cantrip that draws you a card that's better than they would print.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
On the scale of 0 to 11, how offended were you by Blightsteel Colossus being printed?
On a scale of 0 to
0 to 11.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Blightsteel Colossus is sacrilegious and an affront to everything I stand for. No, I'm just kidding. It's just it's a little bit loose of a design. It's like it's not right the same way that Emrakul is.
Yeah. End of the turn, Restoration Angel, followed up by Gideon Giraffe from Chris Renner. So he did go the Gideon route, as we're talking about. Yep. And now his board actually looks pretty potent. We see the Ratchet Bomb tick up to 3.
Now it's going to be interesting. Which Planeswalker do you think we're going to see first? I mean, Liliana would be super effective here, but with only 2 copies of each. Tamio, too, for that matter. If he goes Tamio, top down your Restoration Angel, he's in a real good spot.
I don't know about that, because then his tokens have to attack, and then Gideon just kills. Gideon just kills the Planeswalker.
You're right.
Edict you.
Fantastic.
And then attack the Gideon because I have to, and then Gideon will just eat my Planeswalker.
And that's okay. I mean, Liliana has definitely put in some work here.
Careful, some people out there don't like the phrase "work." I'm not just joking. I've heard that on the Twitter feed sometimes. So here we go. We've got Gideon.
No, dude. No, we got to bring it back. I think that putting in work is criminally underrated. You know what I mean? Like it's. I think that criminally underrated ringers like Chris Renner are known to put in work when they need to.
Here he is, 6/6. Take that, Liliana.
Besides, I think that the Twitter feed was talking about the throwaway words of that card does a lot of work.
Right.
There's a difference between putting in work and does a lot of work. Does a lot of work is a way of saying this card has text. Putting in work is like giving them the business. It's also slightly hyperbolic, but at least you get which direction you're pointing your thing at.
Here we have the Gideon tapped. Chris looking to see if he wants to follow up. I think I see 2 land in his hand at least.
That's 2 more land than he really wants.
I mean, unless he's got Consecrated Sphinx coming down, which do not exist in his deck. That's right, Gideon Giraffe is the top of his curve.
So glad Gideon's rotating. It's been awesome. He's a sweet design. It'd be nice to take a little break, do something a little different.
I agree completely. Shaheen Sarani, not in our camp.
I mean, Gideon has been around for a long time. What does he want?
Gideon for life.
What do you think of the new white one? The new Ajani, Caller of the Pride.
I think it has a lot of potential. I'm curious to see how it ends up playing out.
So I think it looks pretty sweet. I think it's
loyalty level is so much. That's a lot of loyalty.
A lot for a 3-cost Planeswalker.
I mean,
and it has the ability to steal games out of nowhere in a similar way to Elspeth, the original one, Knight Errant.
It makes me look at Nissa Ravain and just kind of chuckle all the more.
Absolutely.
2 more loyalty away from you, Gideon. Down to 4.
Hey-ah!
I mean, I can't remember the name of the webcomic, but there's a webcomic out there that stars Gideon.
Are you talking about Lotus Cobra is evil?
It might be, but I definitely have been amused by a couple of Gideon comics. Apparently Gideon is a bad roommate. That's what one of the threads that goes throughout that. We got another Lingering Souls, perhaps? Liliana, what are you doing?
Interesting. Is he representing Doomblade?
Maybe. Or at least...
Flashing back Lingering Souls here is pretty hot, though.
I think he's waiting to see if this if this Liliana resolves. And it draws out a Snapcaster, which then does the Mana Leak.
Is that Mana Leak or Dissipate?
Dissipate. 5 mana. I'm using 4. Maybe it's Mana Leak. I can't quite tell with his stacked lands. And we see Lingering Souls thereafter.
Yeah, I think it's Dissipate, but...
Yeah, with 6 mana, that was definitely Dissipate.
Chris peels, considers his options, decides not to miracle the Temporal Master yet. Gonna save it for later. It's a little too much spice for this particular sauce.
Chris Renner on our right. You can see that his deck has slowed up a little bit here, using Gideon Jura to try to fight against this Esper Walker's deck.
And I tell you, sometimes, I mean, I would really like Ratchet Bombs against this Esper deck. But I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about the, what is that Scarecrow guy? The 2/3 for 3? All your opponent's creatures with flying get -1/-0?
A limited powerhouse.
Yeah, give me the old one eye.
So, Chris Renner's deck is main deck a card for card of Shaheen Surani. If you want to see that in our Star City Games coverage, if you go to the Invitational coverage, we do have a deck tech from the Invitational. So you can check out the coverage that's already been done on this. But great deck here from Shaheen Surani, now in the hands of Joe Knizacky.
Expensive sorcery master. And you'll notice no Jace the Mind Sculptors or Preordains in his list.
Well, I mean, he's been anti that for a long time. You'll see, interestingly also, no Ponders. Perhaps a...
Now, to be fair with the whole no ponder thing, when your land come into play tap like that, it's like, you know.
Having played Shaheen since the Invitational, he does have Ponder in his current build.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Shaheen. Let the cat out of the bag.
Where's he this weekend?
I'm not sure. Somewhere awesome, I'm sure. Shaheen does awesome things.
Absolutely. International Playboy and Man of Mystery. As well as, you know, finding time to teach the kids.
We see the Restoration Angel. And there, another...
The bomb ticks up to 4. Now threatening to take down the Angel or waiting a turn to take down Gideon. Ratchet Bomb, as they say, doing work.
A lot of.
Absolutely, doing a lot of work. It's just...
Now,
is that a Gideon in Joe's hand?
It's not unreasonable for Joe to crack the bomb, to destroy the Angel, and then just fly in at Gideon and just kill the Gideon in the traditional way.
Yep, hopefully he doesn't have a snag.
Even if he does, I don't know that he cares. I mean...
It's not that bad. Although the nice thing is, if you can kill Gideon here, if you can attack with everybody... So Gideon's at 6 now? Special effects. Wow.
Boom, here they come, getting down to 2.
So what's next?
Yet more pressure on the table.
God, I hope this is not a Gideon.
Post-combat, his own Gideon.
I hope this is not a Gideon.
Let's find out. It could be a curse.
Batterskull, good.
There we go. He did bring in the 1 Batterskull.
It's nice to see Standard involves so much battlecruiser action where people are just bashing their sweet cards against each other.
We see
Negate.
a Negate. Very reasonable against this deck, which only runs 2 creatures main deck.
Jace Memory Adept, wow.
Now this is very, very potent weapon.
Absolutely.
Though dangerous, because it can fill up Joe's yard with flashback cards.
No. See, I don't think he's going to do that first.
You think he's going to go for the draw?
He's got to draw some cards. That's for sure what he needs right now. He just needs more gas. Right now, he's at an opportunity. He knows that Joe is going to have to spend his entire turn attacking Gideon next turn. And if he draws a card, if he finds any way to stop one of those tokens, Gideon will hold off the attack again.
And he is drawing the card.
And
the mill on himself.
It's going to take 2 turns of attacking to kill Jace. So he's going to draw 3 or 4 extra cards, even if he does nothing to interact.
And Gideon moves to 4. Now we see that there's a mana available here for the Moorland Haunt, so that Gideon will survive unless Joe has something tricky going on.
Exciting. This is looking very good for Chris. That Jace, I think, was just about the best possible card in his 75 for this position. It's interesting seeing Chris, switch it up a little bit, adapt, become a Planeswalker deck.
Part of why I said Jace Mill is that I'm accustomed to the Delver deck dropping that down as an alternate win condition when it's already attacking, and so it's not convenient to try to fight the Jace because you're having to defend. But in this situation, what he really wants to do, Gideon, kill Gideon.
Right, and if Jace was at 4 counters here, the 4 tokens could attack. Now, obviously, he has the Moorland Haunt, but it's just nice to have that extra insurance.
And now we see Jace go down to 2.
Yep. But even still, he's stabilized here because he's going to be more on haunting every turn.
Yeah.
And drawing a card every turn.
+2 every turn.
Right.
Ponder.
Excellent. Very good synergy with
And
Jace.
oh my god, mill this card that is not as good as these other cards. Okay, what do we got? I think I see a land.
Looks like 2 land and some business, and he's deciding if he wants...
Snapcaster maybe? I'm not 100% sure on that. And try as you might, tilting your head at the screen will not work on our 2-dimensional broadcast right now.
Wait, this isn't 3D, HD, OPP, SCGDET?
Someday. Right now, just HD. So if
Okay.
you're looking at the crystal clear images, just HD. And we see a shuffle. I think that's probably reasonable, since the Jace is not going to be able to get rid of one of those quasi-dead draws.
Now, what is Chris looking for? I mean, mostly he's just kind of hanging out.
I think he's just looking for...
action, right?
Yeah, just more angels.
Geist of St. Traff, Sword of War and Peace.
Since we're in the sideboard, his second Gideon, since he
Sure.
likely has it boarded in.
Snapcaster Mages. Basically, he just wants, any card that can do some serious work.
There we go. And the draw, and a mill. I think he drew a Ponder.
Excellent. Keep it going.
In his hand, Chris Renner holds my favorite island, Lightning Bolt Island.
My heart's still with Unhinged.
You like the bucket? Or
Unhinged.
Unhinged. Are you talking about the
Unhinged.
full art,
Yep.
really, really old school one? The first full art one, I think?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's just the island from Unhinged is
I can't
it's
remember what it
basically
looks
bliss
like.
sprawled out. It's
Yeah.
like first of all, John Avon, if you like
Right,
any of
Avon's
his-
great. Avon actually did my favorite forest, which is Smoky Forest from 7th edition.
He does a lot of beautiful basic land. Cool dude too. So
So Ponder from Chris Renner,
He
and
just
he
defeat,
leaves
right?
it. He leaves it on top.
it's a bad sign for Joe.
Now he's counting his mana. I never feel very good when the opponent starts counting the mana.
Arranging his mana in the form of probably
In for 2 with Snapcaster Mage, Tiago Chan and his cannon walking on in. Now, I'm always kind of curious what the Snapcaster Mage is supposed to represent. Like, is he like a Ghostbuster, or what is he?
you're talking about the fact that he's got that cyborg arm.
Yeah,
So
Delver of Secrets.
Snapcaster Mage looks like he might have been concepted a little bit during the Mirrodin block.
Yeah.
Like it looks like he's got a little bit of the whole what is it where
Cyborg
yeah, the
nature?
metal where they're like mixing metal with flesh.
Yeah.
That whole thing. Because otherwise, I don't really know what it is about Tiago that causes him to have a laser blaster gun in the world of like werewolves.
I think he's a ghost hunter.
Is he? That's what he is.
I think so. Moreland
I could
Haunt
see it.
once again.
I could see him being a ghost hunter, and he like shoots his his
it's-
Geist catcher.
It's
laser
Peter
beam
Venkman
at
or
him.
something, right?
Or
Or maybe he's Egon. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure he's just Bill Murray.
Maybe he's Venkman.
No, Bill Murray.
Straight up Bill Murray.
Actual Bill Murray.
Not like zombie Bill Murray, but
Dude,
straight up Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's a cool dude. What other movie stars just sneak up behind people, put their hands over their eyes, and then when they look, nobody's gonna believe you.
He's my third favorite actor, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have Tamayo.
Tamayo, allowing him to fight back. This is actually real good because Tamayo will be able to live through the insect hit, and will be able to ensure that Jace Memory Adept dies in a fire, and has the ability. Like Tamayo can also draw 2 cards a turn from the Lingering Souls tokens attacking.
Jace drawing a card. It's a land. It's that land, the Glacial Fortress.
The old Jace versus Tamayo showdown.
I usually find that Tamayo wins. I have played this showdown many times with that Jace versus Tamayo. And it doesn't matter that Tamayo has sandals and socks. Jace usually it's a struggle.
I think it depends on who all's involved in the fight. 1-on-1, Jace kicks Tamayo's butt.
Absolutely.
No question. But if it's a group fight, like if you're in some kind of a melee situation, Tamayo is very good. Like Tamayo support, just coming from the back.
Jace is not good in a group fight.
No, Jace is definitely a solo type
loner.
of dude. Yeah.
And Restoration Angel, it's going to be hitting that Snapcaster Mage most likely. We see this as a main phase play.
No, this is on the end step, right?
I think this is main phase because he just used his Jace.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh, he just wants to ponder? I respect that.
there we go.
I can
Ponder.
get behind. I'm a firm believer in that.
Now that Angel, big body to protect his Jace.
Look at the body on that one.
Shuffle.
If you don't see what you like. Wow. So now he's got 3 different creatures, including a couple in the air. He's got some pressure to go after that Tamio. And he's got Jace struggling to hang on. Now, Joe can take that, if he doesn't draw anything off of this ponder, Joe can just tap the Restoration Angel and ensure that Jace dies.
The cost will be the loss of Tamio unless Joe has some other shenanigans. And remember, there is a Moorland Haunt, though, that is hanging out, waiting to make a spirit.
You're right. So even the Tamio attack plan doesn't really work.
I mean, he could have another trick in his hand. He could have, a Doomblade, or...
Is this some kind of Phyrexian mana cost? Does he have any Phyrexian mana cards?
There is 0 Phyrexian mana in the main, and 0 in the board.
So what is that card? Oh, it's Despise. Okay. It might have been the symbol for Go for the Throat, the Phyrexia symbol from New...
Does Go for the Throat have a Phyrexian mana symbol? I mean, a Phyrexian, what do you want to call it? Imprint?
No, I thought some did during the pre-release, right?
Interesting.
Was it during the faction packs?
Okay.
But I don't know.
Tamio holds down the Angel. Watermark is the appropriate term, apparently. Maybe?
Yeah, we
Maybe
don't
it's
use
a
the word watermark.
Here we go. In at you, Jace.
Just kidding, we do.
And Moorland Haunt. Doomblade on the spirits.
Yep, there's the symbol.
You are correct. And unless there is some more action, a Vapor Snag. Nope, that is the end of the only Jace that is something that Chris has access to.
No, but the thing that's weird here is that by doing it this way, wow!
And a bomb.
That doesn't, it seems weird because now he's going to lose his Tamio.
No,
that's right. He can bomb away the insect.
Yeah, he can bomb the 0-cost insect.
And at least then, he'll lose his spirits, but at least he'll keep his Tamio, so that if he can just deal with that Snapcaster Mage, he'll be a little bit ahead.
Probe is going to show Despise.
Why pay the 2 life?
He's got so much mana. Revoke Existence. I guess that will hit a sword eventually. And we see land, and here they come.
Coming after Tamio?
What do you do here? Do you blow that?
Yeah. I'm greedy as hell. I'd sack the bomb.
There it is.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And the spirits also depart.
Tamio down to 1. Now,
Now,
Tamio can neutralize either of those creatures. If Joe just has one more piece of business, he's in a pretty good spot, although he still has to deal with that Moorland Haunt. How many more creatures do we...
Chris actually milled 2 creatures into his yard with the Jace ability.
Wow.
And did he draw a Curse of Death's Hold? Joe would love a curse. Tamio, too weak to let Joe draw cards.
Oh, that's Consecrated Sphinx. If this sticks, this is a big game.
Oh, Doctor. There we see the mana leak.
Sorry about that whammy.
Now, Joe, at 16 life here, tapped out, so we can expect 1 damage to Joe and 2 to Tamio, and the Angel is freed next turn. Of course, Joe does have 5 potential sweep effects in his deck.
Wow, committing a Geist. Joe is on a real short clock to draw Day of Judgment or Terminus.
Land. Go.
So we're down to, it's time to draw Day of Judgment or Terminus now.
Yes. And I believe that Joe, did we say that was a Despise, or did we not know what it was?
No, it's a Revoke Existence still.
Okay, Revoke Existence, that's right. In for 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 damage, knocks Joe to 3. Joe fetches, thinning his deck out.
Even if he days here, or Terminuses, that Moorland Haunt has him on a real short clock.
I'm not sure how much there's left in the deck for creatures. If he Terminuses, he might be just fine. Like, he's only got...
You're talking about in the graveyard?
In the graveyard, yeah.
Are there no more creatures in his yard?
I think he's either got 1 or none.
Interesting.
Either way, not a Terminus. Joe says
We're going to
game 3.
Awesome.
Now, having seen Chris's approach to this matchup, if you're Joe, do you change anything that you've got going on? We saw a Batterskull get revealed at one point from Joe. You were saying that you don't like Batterskull. I kind of do.
No. I think Batterskull's okay. What I wonder is if he's going to keep the Revoke Existence, because that's kind of a reactive card, and it doesn't really help in the situation against all these walkers and this bigger game plan.
He kept the Sphinx in. Does he still want to do that?
I think the Sphinx is still good. I think what he wants to ask himself is, should I take out the Revoke and replace it with a Volition Reins? He would freaking love to Volition Reins. Now, you can still Volition Reins a sword sometimes, but you can Volition Reins a Gideon or a Jace and get busy in a Burger King bathroom.
You know, I have Volition Rained a Jace before. It feels dirty.
And you know, that's okay. Because Jace is the type of dude, he's a real filth monger. He likes to feel dirty as he is on the inside. So yeah, basically I think Volition Reigns over, and you know, I'm sure that the textbook thing is that you're not supposed to Volition Reigns the Delver deck, and I get that, and that's cool.
Well,
but throw the book out the window sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta get nasty.
As Brian Cowell says, and I very much agree with this, that you don't sideboard against a deck. You sideboard against a player.
Absolutely. Agree with that completely. Dude, where's Brian Cowell at?
Where's Brian Cowell? He is working at a game company in Madison.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a deck builder that it sends ripples through the community sometimes where people don't even know where it's coming from. But it just so happens that there are enough people talking to Brian Cowell that it's having an impact.
Absolutely. He's actually one of those people that a lot of players don't actually realize the influence he's had, even not talking about the decks that Brian hasn't specifically defined or designed. Just him talking to people, as you're saying, like him saying,
very knowledgeable dude.
Absolutely.
Very knowledgeable. He's one of those dudes from the old school that also has the new school perspective. Like, he's seen it from at all times, you know?
Despise from Joe Knizacky. And we see an Angel, Mana Leak, and Sword of War and Peace.
Interesting. It's going to be pretty nasty trying to get that sword with the Volition Reins that I hope he has.
Chris Renner draws a land. 4 lands still in hand. Second land from Joe. Powder Keg? A Ratchet Bomb.
And ticks it up immediately, not messing around.
Time is short. 8 minutes
Joe
on
playing
the clock.
super fast. I love it. That's an experienced Esper Control player. He knows he just has to play lightning fast.
And there's the Lingering Souls.
Yes.
Does this pull a Mana Leak?
Yes.
And there it is.
Yes. Ratchet Bomb continues.
Good times.
Oh, this time it looks like he's actually going to wait a minute. Oh, doesn't respond to the ponder. Who has time to respond to things? Joe has Tamio in his hand with another Lingering Souls coming down next turn. In pretty good shape, particularly knowing that Chris doesn't really have anything going yet. Chris, meanwhile, looking for some action. He's got the sword for when the time is right, but those bombs provide plenty of outs. That's another reason you don't need the Revoke Existence. You got the bomb.
I was really pleased when I saw Ratchet Bomb. It just brought me back to all of the Powdered Keg days of old. And there we see a removal from Chris. Was that Divine Offering?
Dear goodness, yes.
That's actually very, very big deal that Joe did this premature activating of the keg. +2 life for Chris Renner as a result. Sorin comes down. Here's a Vampire.
Turbo Speed.
Geist.
Now it's interesting that the Sorin is already ahead enough of the Geist. He can actually make another Vampire and threaten to block the Geist, kill it, and have Sorin still live. Plus, he's about to drop Tamio.
I really like these Vampires flying in from the side, the Judge just tossing them. Lingering Souls coming down.
So next turn, even if Chris plays Sword of War and Peace, equips, and attacks, he can still block with just 1 Vampire token. He can still block with a Vampire token, and then next turn draw 3 cards off of Tamio, if he wants. Or he can just not.
There is a Doomblade in Tamio, and I think a Go for the Throat in Joe's hand.
Oh, I hope he goes after the Angel. Make him taste it.
Now remember, at the epic match between Conley and Craig Wesco, Conley's timely killing of an Angel was really critical to him winning that match. Just because that angel's going to die anyway doesn't mean you have to just accept you'll take 4. You do have the choice to try to kill it or bounce it.
Now Joe's got some temporary advantages. So he decides to throw a token in front of each. Keep the Doomblade. A respectable play. Although it does mean he's not going to use Tamiyo to draw cards next turn.
And the angel goes away. Can you imagine if the angel just stuck?
Absolutely, they have that equipment in Avacyn restored.
Oh, that makes me... Playing against that Unlimited has been very frustrating. And we see yet another vampire. Angel is created. Tokens go to the yard. Joe looking at that Sword of War and Peace and just it's doing so much creation for problems for Joe here. Every single time he has to throw something away to deal with it. And we see yet one more vampire. Is that a Curse of Death's Hold?
It is. But first, Tamiyo or Curse? Who comes first?
Curse? Curse. Curses. Does that resolve? I think I see a negate in Chris's hand. I could be very wrong about that, though. Flick, flick, flick.
See, I think I would have just Doombladed the Angel and then just swung back and drew 3 cards when I had the chance. But maybe he didn't have an untapped 5th land.
And the curse hits. Chris now has a 3/3 Geist and potentially will have a 3/3 Angel. Another dead vampire.
Another one bites the dust. And another one's down. Another one.
Can you tell what the second card is in Joe Knizacky's hand? Oh,
Tamiyo.
He just takes it.
I believe it's still Tamiyo.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you. Jace.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, you're right.
Coming from another angle. Wow, Mana Leak too. Things are looking real good for Chris. Both players playing very, very fast. Neither one wants to draw here.
Another vampire. Evolving Wilds. Tamiyo. Tamiyo holds down land.
So I kind of think I like to just attack with 2 vampires and draw 2 cards. Also, who taps? Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
The curse stopping the Moorland Haunt.
It's nice. I feel like Joe's got to draw some extra cards here, though. He's got to get something going. He can't just keep this up. He's leaking damage every turn to the Angel.
And the Angel itself can actually just knock that Tamiyo down to 2. So,
But yeah, I think it's going to take out Soren first, right? Like, this is it for Soren. He should have used that Doomblade earlier when he had the chance.
a lot of people are unwilling to basically do a quote-unquote card advantage losing play. Well, sometimes position is more important than card advantage. And
Absolutely.
we see, and the Angel comes back. 3-3 and 3-3. One on the ground, untargetable, one in the air. And where are they going? I'm not quite sure.
Probably at Soren. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, Angel at Soren, Geist at Tamiyo. Now, 3 vampires can all get together and kill the Geist.
I'd do it for sure.
Just
you gotta take
do
the
it.
chance.
Just
if he's got
do
the
it.
Vapor Snag, you're already dead. Like, he's in such a bad
There
spot.
you go.
Yeah. All right.
And Soren down.
So now it's back to Tamiyo versus Jace.
Mana Leak in Chris Renner's hand. Meanwhile, the top clock is just ticking down. Pro Red, Pro White are not good against vampires.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even though Soren is part white, his vampires aren't. So now we have Curse of Death's Hold, which is trumping the Whirlwind Haunt, but does have sort of War and Peace on the other side. Meanwhile, the main conflict is Tamiyo versus Jace. Either player could be in real good shape.
As we said before, as you said before, Jace plays better alone, Tamio plays better with friends, and right now the board is clear.
Plus, Chris has a grip, whereas Joe has almost nothing in his hand. Chris definitely has the advantage, but they're down to just a few minutes. There's very few minutes left in the round.
There are the 10. I don't think I saw a single flashback card there.
Joe continuing to play very fast.
Batter Skull off the top.
Yeah, and that's something.
And there's a mana leak in Chris's
He's going to walk
hands.
face first into it, but he's got to do something.
How much mana do you got? You got a bunch, huh? Let's tap one of them. Batter Skull. Leak. Oh, it's end of negate?
Yep.
Oh, boy, he's got everything.
It's going to be real tough for Joe to not get 10'd out at a time by Jace. As long as they're not in turns right now.
I think that it's actually going to be very hard for Joe to win this game. And they are now in extra turns. Neither of these players wants a draw right now.
And this is turn 1.
Yeah, this is turn 1.
I don't know, does he actually have enough time? I don't know how many cards are left in Joe's deck, but he might be one turn behind.
And he's going to mill.
It's one of the sweet things about the Grixis Temporal Mastery deck. When you get to turns, as you're wont to do, you can Temporal Mastery and just kind of steal one.
I've stolen turns in extra time. It feels just awesome.
I can see that. I'm a firm believer in that.
And a held down Coast still there. Joe, I'm not sure what he's looking for here. Turn 2. Soren is...
I mean, it's not nothing. He certainly can't win in time, but it looks like at this point he's just playing for the draw. It's unclear how many cards are in his library.
Now, if both of these players draw now, this will mean that next turn they will both be forced to win. And they still might not make it just based on tiebreakers. We've got a Lingering Souls from the Yard now from Joe.
Time is on Joe's side. Yes, it is. Chris deciding, is this where he uses his negate? Yeah. He figures it probably doesn't matter, but he might as well. At this point, all that really matters is how many cards are in Joe's deck.
Turn 3. Which actually means that unless he can force Joe to draw, this is his last opportunity to mill.
No, turn 3.
I know, but turn 5 if he mills, Joe won't have to draw. Right. So I don't think that he can deck Joe.
You think he's one turn behind?
I think he's one turn shy.
Wow.
And they're drawing as a... Look at that, the unhappiness there from Chris. Joe also not happy.
And to be fair, Joe did his part. Joe was playing lightning fast that match.
Yeah, there was no one to look at in this match and say,